Listen up, friends. This is Alex Jones with key information. The mainstream media is now admitting that we're going into a depression. Don't be dependent on the government for you and your family. You need to get your own supply of high-quality storable foods from efoodsdirect.com. They're the best company out there, the longest continually operating, with a ton of great food to choose from. It's all fresh and made on a monthly basis, not some old cruddy food they're selling you like some of the other guys. Try their new evacuation pack, a 2-week supply of delicious, easy-to-fix food. It comes with all the equipment you need to prepare it. With open talk of a strike on Iran in the next 3 months, the crisis in the Gulf, and possible evacuations, get yourself and your family ready today. The place to go is efoodsdirect.com. Go to their website online right now, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or call 800-409-5633. Again, on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or give them a call at 800-409-5633. Alex Jones here with urgent information concerning trendsresearch.com. The Trends Journal distills the voluminous ongoing research of the Trends Research Institute into a concise, readily accessible form. By tracking 300 separately defined domestic and international trends, the Trends Journal establishes the connections that others fail to see or misinterpret. Gerald Celente's Trends Journal allows you to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take protective strategies. Individual readers from every walk of life can put the Trends Journal Trends Forecast and Trends Analysis to practical use. Extra information to keep you well informed throughout the year. When any current event of major social, economic, or political significance occurs, Trends Journal notifies its subscribers of their implications. When you subscribe to the Trends Journal, you'll also receive Trends Alerts. Visit trendsresearch.com today. That's trendsresearch.com. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. This information is too important to wait.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
An armed society is a polite society. Manners are good when one may have to back up his acts with his life. But apparently, 30-year-old Long Island man George Greer wasn't kind enough to the 25 gang members that invaded his property and threatened to kill his kids. George Greer was the one who police arrested. We're going to go rapid fire through your calls on the Alex Jones Show. What do you think about this? We've got Tyranny Rival in California. You are on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, hello. First-time caller. Been listening for a couple months now. Been waking up. But on this subject, there's something similar I've listened to in the past here in California because I used to watch mainstream media. There's something similar to where a burglar broke into someone's home and a person shot the person in the leg just to, injure them so the police can come. And then the person that got shot in the leg, the burglar, went to court and sued the homeowner. And basically, that person obviously won. And there was another incident where the person killed that family member, or killed the robber, and then the family pressed charges against the homeowner. But, like you're saying.
Yeah, there are cases where a burglar has come in through a skylight and hurt himself, and then the homeowners get sued because the skylight was improperly built to allow the burglar to come in and rob them. So I guess just lay down and die. That's what the government's telling us. We can't defend ourselves. Our home's not our castle anymore. Just stay frightened, stay peeking behind the curtain. Don't worry, the police will be along shortly after your wife and kids have been slaughtered. We're going to go to Chris in Georgia. Chris, you're on the air.
Hey, Paul. How's it going now?
Going well. What's on your mind, Chris?
I want to touch on, the politicians passing these laws and people. Well, first I want to commend you and Alex and everybody there for everything you guys do. It's great. These politicians, they're passing these laws. They're not stupid. Everyone thinks the laws are stupid, that the politicians are stupid. They're not stupid. They're sinister. They know exactly what they're doing. Disarm the entire public. If somebody like me can figure this out, somebody in their position should be able to figure that out. Of course they know it. And I also commend that woman, for calling the police while the man's beating on the back door. If he had been beating on my back door, the cops get called after he's laying on the ground. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to have to. And who's going to abide by a gun law? Law-abiding citizens abide by the law, obey the law, right? It's perfect sense there. Anyway, hearing stuff like that makes me want to vent. 25 people in your yard. Again, the cops get called. If they're in my yard, they're in a pile before I even think about calling the cops. Anyway. Well,
that's exactly right. I mean, it's not just the fact that they were on his yard. They were screaming and threatening to kill his wife and kids. And he didn't eat. 99% of people would have shot him in the head. He unloaded 4 rounds into his own lawn, and apparently that was an overreaction. That was recklessness. So, if this is allowed to become the precedent, then you're going to end up worse than England, where people can't even carry knives in their own home. Matt, in the UK, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello, Matt. Are you there? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Paul. How you doing? Yeah, hi, mate. Yeah, my question is basically, you mentioned about this, obviously, this gun scenario in America. Just from a British point of view, reading the Mail paper today, and there's a guy in the UK basically been found with military shells and guns, but obviously they're all legal above board. It's going to show you how they're making impressive fear-mongering in this country now and making such a big hierarchy thing about guns, fear-mongering the British public. What do you agree on that one?
Yeah, well, they've been doing it since at least the early 90s and then the mid-90s with the Hamilton Dunblane shooting, which has some very strange connections. And, of course, if those teachers during the Dunblane massacre would have been allowed to be armed, then a lot less people would have died. That prompted the 97 gun ban in the UK, and since 97, the rate of violent crime in the UK has doubled. Why? Because criminals can now act safe in the knowledge that nobody can defend themselves. This is why your chances of getting mugged in London are 6 times higher than major cities in the United States. There's another stat that I came across while doing the research for this. 53% of English burglaries occur while occupants are at home, compared to 13% in the US. Why is that? Because the burglars, the criminals, know that the majority of people in the United States are going to blow them away if they come in the house. In England, safe in the knowledge, you can go in, try to kill people, burgle them, and then, often is the case, the victim is going to get charged. And that's how there have been many cases of that in Britain that we've covered over the years on the Alex Jones Show, and I talked about one earlier today. So thanks for the call, Matt. We're going to go to Barry in Arizona. Barry, you're on the air.
Hey, Paul. This is an opportunity for people to kind of study, the psychology of government in general, because this whole trend of blaming the victim is particular to people that are either sociopathic or antisocial. And I've been making the case for a long time that government is antisocial and sociopathic.
Oh no, that's a common trait, especially with people like serial killers who will often blame the victim for their crime. It's like we were talking about Charlie Manson yesterday. Manson absolves his blame in the murders of Tate and LaBianca, and all his followers did at the time, because they said that it was necessary to kill people for the environment and that it was part of a war. And that is a classic sociopathic trait among serial killers, to blame the victims. So now our own governments exercise that psychological illness in their war against the people. We're going to move on. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a constant theme running through government, and people can, once they realize this, then they can see government for what it really is. And, anyway, that's all I had to say.
That's right. It's feeding on us. It's feeding on us, and to make it easier to do so, we have to be defenseless. Robert in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Mr. Paul Joseph Watson, I heard from my butler, has informed me of there's a serious issue of the man not being part of the Royal Admiralty. Apparently he does not have no sir after his name. Well, he will not get justice, no sir. No sovereign entities such as Mr. Greer and the gang members will ever receive justice, because, you see, the bankers consider them more of a threat than any non-armed citizen. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. The accent doesn't, though, because I live at the opposite end of the country to where you'll hear that accent. Thanks for the call. Matt in Minnesota, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to point out that when the media uses terms like AK-47 to describe the weapon, the firearm that guy had, that's just sort of a way to demonize firearms, to the commoners and the slaves, because when people hear the word AK-47, which it probably wasn't an AK-47. It was probably just a copy, a semi-automatic rifle. And, they use that term, so people are like, ooh, this guy had an AK-47. Why did he have that? Why did he fire that? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly the case. They focus on the fact that he had a gun. I mean, that's what the majority of the story is about. In fact, on the CBS News story, there's a picture above the news story of a row of AK-47s, as if this guy was packing some, military-grade arsenal of weapons, when it's got nothing to do with his gun. It's about the fact that he tried to defend himself and was arrested. I mean, look at Switzerland. Most of the population's packing AK-47s, and Switzerland has one of the lowest gun crime rates in the world. The gun crime rate in Switzerland is so low that they don't even keep statistics for it. And that's because in Switzerland, owning guns is rooted in the culture. In fact, the government in Switzerland runs all the shooting classes and all the training. It's almost illegal not to have a gun in Switzerland. And what's the result? Gun crime figures lowest in the world. I mean, look at the Nazi occupation. Look at the map of the countries that the Nazis occupied during the Second World War in Central and Northern Europe. You'll see a big swath of it all circled round, coloured red, and there's one little area that's a different colour, and that country is Switzerland. Why? Because one of the primary reasons Hitler was afraid to invade is the fact that he knew the vast majority of the population were armed, and that the Swiss are a citizen army. Their population is their army. Now, the people in the Warsaw Ghetto didn't have guns because they were immediately disarmed when the Nazis moved in. What was the first thing that the Nazis did when they occupied a new country? Rise and fall of the Third Reich. Read it. Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland, they disarmed the population. That was the first thing they did. And in the United Kingdom, we're also becoming a disarmed population. We've been disarmed of our firearms. Now we're being told we can't carry knives. And then you get a story like this George Greer incident in Long Island, and that's why I'm asking the question, is the Second Amendment dead? A man's home is his castle. Is that idea now being thrown out in America? We're going to move on to our next caller, which is Robert in California. Robert, you're on the air. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Matt in Minnesota. Matt, go ahead. Michael in Sweden, you're the next caller. Go ahead.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
I think it's outrageous that the Long Island man got arrested for defending his property and his family of this notorious MS-13 gang, you know?
It is outrageous, and I mean, what's the situation in Sweden? I'm guessing that Sweden is a